Hi, thank you so much for having me. My name is Cortney Whitebay. I own Hudson Valley Peak Performance, and I am going through some rebranding right now, so you might see that change. Um, let's see, I have a little slide. I'm like semi-prepared with the slideshow, so I'm going to see if I can share my screen and do this quickly. Nope, that's not it. There we go. So somatic business coaching, actually, you know what, a lot of times I like to ask people what somatic means to them. And I did this at another call a couple of days ago. So actually, I'm going to ask that again, since there are at least 3 other people, maybe even everybody here has an idea of what somatic means to them. And I guarantee you, my version is probably a little bit different. So if you want to pop on real quick and let me know what that means to you, it would be cool to hear like other people's definitions. I just find that in our field, you know, there are so many different names for things and interpretations. So who wants to go first? Mayank, you're not muted. What does somatic mean to you?
I don't even know what that means.
Good answer. Laura, what about you?
I would say it's about what is the body speaking, the wisdom held within our bodies, and the power to heal through feeling and noticing sensation. And that could be through movement, could be through creating jewelry, like you said, and connectedness.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. What about you, Manuela?
I am 100% with Laura. That's exactly what I was going to say. Beautiful.
Cool. Tanya?
Yeah, I'm aligned with what Laura had said as well. It's being aware of what your body is telling you and being able to interpret the signals and having a way to be able to use these signals to be able to guide yourself through life.
Yeah.
See, the Google says relating to the body, especially as distinct from the mind. So that means you're not connecting the body and the mind here. You're just talking about the body.
Well, no, I don't think you can really. Well, my belief is that you cannot separate the body and the mind, but it's fun because somebody always goes to Google. I kind of love that.
Well, I mean, you gotta, if I don't know, I have to look it up. You know, I don't know the meaning of this word. I've never, so that's why that. Well, it makes sense. It makes sense. I don't believe that body and mind can be distinct. They're together. They go together.
Yeah. So soma really means body, like the root word is just body. But when I'm using it in terms of like somatic coaching, somatic business coaching, and the way you guys are using it as well, is really going into the body to help heal the mind in some sort of way. If you heal the body, you heal the mind. If you heal the mind, you heal the body. And it's just inextricably, connected and related. The way that I use it is in an effort to get people moving, people who are in business, people who own their own businesses, people who have maybe gotten to a certain level of success in their business and kind of started to look around them. And you guys, so many of you are also health coaches here, so I know you'll understand where somebody looks around themselves and they're like, holy shit, like I have all of these things, or I have all of this success, but I forgot I was here. I didn't even realize that I forgot that I was actually here. Here I am working in and on my business and serving my clients and my customers and doing all of this, but I forgot about me. And so what I do is I take a personal training session and I combine that with business coaching, consultation, framework, and conversation. So that is sort of, to me, what it means. And this is just like a little snapshot. The program that I created, I call Empowered Living. And it goes through, for me, 6 or 7 pillars of health. In the beginning, I like to help everybody create their sphere of influence or hone their sphere of influence. Because if we do not have space mentally, emotionally, physically, we cannot do our work, whether that is business work or that is physical work. I do all of my programs online. So I want people to make sure that they have enough space to do the program and to then move on to the next section, which is going to be building your goals and getting in touch with your desires. And I say desires, and that is really important because the desire I think, is the root. That is like the main thing for you. And a lot of times we're told in our culture that, you know, desiring something is selfish. It's not selfish. That is how we know we are on our journey. We are starting to live our purpose. So not just like your little goals, those are important too, but I want you to connect in with your soul deep desires, the things that are driving you to do what you're doing, right? What is your big why? And as all of the health coaches here know, you have to know the why in order to really create any sustainable change, right? But going back to creating your space, if you have people who are putting you down, who are naysayers, who are like, oh, you're never going to get that off the ground. Oh, that's too much money. Nobody's going to pay you that. Or whatever it is, that's going to make it really difficult for you to get to your desires and set your goals and have that really concentrated time and space and mental and physical energy to do what it is that you want to do. Of course, we all can do that, but it's always better to come from a positive energy than a negative energy. So clearing your sphere of influence, clearing and creating your space and setting boundaries is really about putting yourself first and making sure that your energy is staying up so that you can accomplish your goals. Next, I love to work with teams as well as one-on-ones. Right now, I'm launching a group, which is really fun because we get to actually, similar as here, we get to go around the room, hear about people's wins. We get to go around the room and hear about people's goals, and we get to see what they need help in. And this is like the beauty of combining personal training or group personal training with coaching, because you get to relax your body in a way that is also very stimulating. So that might sound like counter or contrary, but it's really not. When you start to move your body, you get the blood flow, you get more ideas, you start to relax your body in terms of that you're not holding on to that mental stress that's somatically living in your body, right? That's the opening part. And then the vigorous movement is what gets things going around. And then you have this mental space where ideas can start to flow in. And this is, I think, what makes it so productive in business, that when you add in an exercise routine with people, without people, whatever it is, in a program by yourself, it doesn't matter. But when you start to move your body, you are starting to open up. You're starting to oxygenate, you are starting to let ideas in, and this is where the genius starts to happen. You become less judgmental, you don't talk as negatively to yourself, you're not going to look as negatively upon other people as well. That's why I think it's such a cool idea to have a team, like a business team, actually do this together, like an executive team, where it's like, okay, well, I'm having trouble doing this part of my work because I'm not getting this other thing from this other person. So, you know, toss the ball over there. How can we make sure that those things are connecting at the right time so everybody can get their work done at the right time and nobody's waiting on anybody else? I mean, have that conversation when you're just sitting around drinking caffeinated coffee and everybody's waiting for lunch. Somebody's going to bite somebody else's head off, right? But if you're moving, if you're hydrating, if you're taking care of your body, if you're kind of like, you know, literally or not literally throwing the ball to the next person and being like, oh, catch, I need to do this. Okay, catch, I need to do that. It becomes more fun. It becomes more playful. It becomes something where you're starting to work together as a cohesive team rather than saying like, well, I can't do this because he or she, yada, yada, yada. It becomes, okay, cool. So this is my job. This is how I see it. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I need from the next person. How can I get that most efficiently? So it just helps you open up conversation, helps you open up ideas, all sorts of stuff. And then you get to take action on all of that. So when I go through a session, I like to start with an intention setting, because we all have something that we want to do or talk about, whether it's a physical thing or a mental thing, emotional thing, or a business thing. We all have something that we want to work on. So maybe that's just simply being present, you know, whatever it is, being present in the session, being present in a meeting, being present with your family when you get home from work, whatever it is. That's like a little bit of grounding in the beginning. And then we go through and you get to brain dump. You're warming up, you start to brain dump, we start to celebrate some successes and get some good vibes going, get our energy up, right? And then we can get into the nitty gritty of it. And that's that's when we start to work a little bit harder. That's when we start to like really think about like, okay, here are my goals, or here are my frustrations, and how am I going to solve those? And then after that's all done, you get to have a little list of things that you've already thought about. I encourage people actually, and I know this is a little bit unusual, but I encourage them to have a notebook when they're working out. I encourage them to have a notebook, pen and paper, whatever it is you like to write with, so that you can stop during your session and you can jot something down real quick. You know, stopping in between a set or even mid set, for all I care, if it's that important. Sometimes it's just that important. You know, you just have to stop and write it down. You can always pick it back up again. You can always repeat that set. You know what I mean? You're not losing anything by taking the time and writing down some genius idea that you have. And then at the end of your session, of your workout session, you have actionable items that you can take and implement into your business as soon as you're done. Or you can talk to your boss about as soon as you're done, or you can implement with your team, like as soon as you're done, whatever it is. And that, I think, is another really pivotal point, that when you go into this workout, not only are you having, I like to say you're turning me time into green time, because not only are you then creating a healthy environment for yourself as an individual, not only are you de-stressing, right? Like if you're stressed out, your work is not going to be as good. Exercise is going to help you de-stress. If you are eating well, that's another component. I don't do meal plans or anything like that. There are people for that. That is not me. But, you know, pay attention to what you're eating. Journal it. How does it feel when you're making it? Is it a slog? Do you absolutely hate making it? Well, maybe outsource that, or make something different, or maybe your partner likes to cook. Come out with some idea where it's not draining your energy. If you're ever draining your energy, it's just not a great place to be. Or maybe it's because you don't like it. You're making it and you freaking hate it and you do not want to put it in your mouth, and you're making it and you're like, I'm making this because so-and-so said this was healthy and I hate eating it. And then you go to eat it and you also still hate it. All right, you should enjoy it. Enjoy it. This is nourishment. This is the basis of everything, of every cell in our body, right? Like if every cell in our body is consumed through anger, frustration, and hatred, well, like that's living in us, right? We don't want to put the building blocks in with that feeling in mind, right? So I like to ask people, are you happy with how you're eating? Does it make you feel good? An hour after you're done, or 10 minutes after you're done, do you feel energized, or do you feel sluggish? Do you have to run to the bathroom like urgently? It's probably not the right food for you. I have a friend who is the biggest teddy bear you'll ever meet. I've known him for ages and ages and ages, and we used to live on Long Island together. And there's a store called Carvel Ice Cream down there. And it's just like an ice cream shop. Like you can get the Carvel ice cream cakes in any grocery store or whatever, but it only on Long Island, I think, you go like it is an actual ice cream shop. And so he would go in every time he saw one, he would go in and he would get a vanilla ice cream cone. And now I'm telling you, I used to row crew with this guy, which is really hard work. He used to coach. We coached together, you know, like in college, and people can be real not nice people. Never once did I ever see him lose his temper. Well, apparently he used to go and get these Carvel ice creams, and every single time he would eat it and he would start to get road rage on his way home. And I was like, gee, Rob, that's really unusual. And it took him years, if not decades, to realize that why this super sweet, cuddly teddy bear, nice person was a horrible, raging maniac on the way home from Carvel ice cream is because he had a low-grade stomach ache from the ice cream. And it was turning him into a monster. And, you know, if that is happening, he didn't know. He didn't know for decades. He didn't know. But once he figured it out, that was a huge turning point for him and for his wife. So anytime he starts to get mean or crotchety now, she's like, hey, honey, do you have a stomach ache? So if you're eating something and it's making you not feel good, like really check in with yourself. We don't do this as a society. We don't check in and see like, okay, we're eating food and it's making us feel good. We're eating food and it's making us feel sick to our stomach. We're eating food and it's making me feel tired. And that's not usual. That's not normal. Maybe I should change that. So that is like observation without judgment, I think is huge. And I always want to instill that for everybody. Just observe how you're feeling, whatever it is. Observe the space that you're in. Observe how your friends and family are speaking to you. Observe how your colleagues are interacting with you. Observe these things. Step away from it just a little bit. Create a little bit of space. And this is one part that I really think is so important and I absolutely love. If you need additional help with something like setting boundaries, that is a perfect time to introduce a colleague who does therapy or boundary work or coaching specifically around that. Same thing with nutrition. If you find that you need help above and beyond being just observant about how you feel and what you're taking in, that's a beautiful time to bring in a nutritionist or a dietitian or whatever it is that fits that specific bill, right? So these are all ways that we can support our bodies that are going to make our business or our team just absolutely more efficient and more productive, happier. And if you're happier, everything is going to fall into line. There's something else that there's some CDs that I've been listening to. I know, like, I don't know when they were made, that they're still called CDs. Obviously, I'm just listening to them online. I don't know when they were recorded. But it's I don't know how to say it. It's a kind of mindset work, basically the law of attraction, how to use the law of attraction in your life and in your business. And it's these higher up millionaire, billionaire type people, executives, business owners. And, he's like, the people who are in my shoes, the billionaires, the executives, the people who are owning these companies and basically running the world, the people who are in my shoes, we don't think about how this is going to happen. We think about, okay, like, how do I feel? Do I believe that this can get worked out? Like, do I believe in my center, in my heart, in my being in a positive way of the outcome of this? Yes. Okay. So I don't know how it's going to happen, but I know it is going to happen. And it's harnessing that, again, we're coming back to somatics, that energy, because if your energy that lives in your body is at a high vibration, then you are going to be able to manifest these other things to happen. So of course there are, details and legwork that has to happen in order to do that, but they don't know that ahead of time. They have the belief, and the belief doesn't just come from their mind. The belief comes from their body as well. So being able to have that feeling in your body, that positivity, that energy, that vibration that is always on the up and up, exercise is going to help with that. Good food is going to help with that. De-stressing is going to help with that. So meditation is going to help with that. Sleep is another really, really important one. There is nothing that will turn a nice person into a mean person like the lack of sleep, right? Right? Like, there just isn't. And from all the research that I've read, an 8-hour sleep opportunity, absolute minimum. There are far fewer people in this world who can actually survive on less than 8 hours of sleep. They think they can. But the reality of the situation is that it's like 0.01% or something crazy who can actually survive and function optimally on a less than 8-hour sleep opportunity a night. So make sure you get your sleep. So I think these are all things that you guys already know about, which is really great. We have a really cohesive group right here. The last one that I do like to touch on is reducing your toxic load, reducing the toxic load that's in your body and around you. So anything that's in the air or on your skin or your hair is going to also go into your body. Your skin being the biggest organ, it's going to absorb stuff. So if you are putting anything in, on, or around your body that does not belong there, that your body does not know how to efficiently process, it is going to start to bog down your filtration systems. It's going to start to disrupt different hormone patterns and pathways, and you're going to start to come out with different things that are happening that should not be happening. Your endocrine system can be disrupted, your all that's like the big system, right? And then everything kind of trickles down. So you want to make sure that everything that you're putting in, on, and around your body is supportive of your body, similar to food. Like, think about your hair care products, your skin products, your district soap, your cleaning products, your laundry detergent, hope you don't use dryer sheets. If you do use dryer sheets, stop. They're like the number one most toxic thing in anybody's house. All of that stuff gets absorbed through your skin or through your nose or through the air and into your body. And if your body doesn't know how to process it, it's going to start to deteriorate. You're going to start to have funky things start to happen. Maybe some autoimmune stuff could pop up, or maybe eczema would pop up. That's a really common one. So you just want to make sure that you don't have all of these things bogging your system down. And those are really insidious because you don't think about it, right? There are some great apps. There's one called Think Dirty. And there's a new one that I don't know the name of, but there's one called Think Dirty. And then there's ewg.org, O-R-G. And both of those places you can actually look up and Think Dirty and whatever, there's another app out there. You can actually scan barcodes and see what the toxicity level of it is. So that I think is really interesting. And I know it's a little bit of a sidebar, but it's also still really important in making sure that your body is functioning optimally, because if it's not, nor is your business.